unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Boxingego unpack. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live.
Yeah, never do that again. Ryan Garcia goes full Floyd Mayweather and debuts a makeshift, great value, equate shoulder roll versus Oscar Duarte. Luckily, he was able to score a knockout win. That's what I want to talk about. He was instructed to never do that again. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Subscribe to my channel. It's free. The best in the business, and it's not even close. Ryan Garcia, he made his return over the weekend versus Oscar Duarte. Game, like, supposed to be a knockout puncher. Ryan Garcia said post-fight he could feel the thump. Dude has some power. But I talked about this in a previous video. It's really up to you guys to subscribe to the channel for the best content regarding boxing on the net. And I asked you guys in the comment section to put Floyd Mayweather shoulder roll as a comment if you wanted me to make this video. A bunch of people did it. You guys can go look at that video. You'll see a bunch of people in the comment. So here we are. I'm making this video. And it was about the bizarre shoulder roll attempt from Ryan Garcia. Make sure you guys thumb up the video, subscribe, hit the bell notification icon again so you don't miss a thing. Now, the thing that was super weird about Ryan Garcia is new weight class, brand new trainer, Derek James, who also works for Errol Spence, and he was winning the fight by boxing. And I seen in rounds, like the first 3 rounds, I want to say, I had seen some subtle improvements from Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia, many people have said he's a flawed fighter. I get it. But it looked like he was earnestly working to defend and work against this Oscar Duarte come forward style. Not to mention, Ryan had a lot of pressure on his back, given the fact that he was beefing with his promoter, Oscar De La Hoya, and Bernard Hopkins, and he's coming off of a loss to Gervonta Davis. So I thought he started the fight pretty well. He also was fighting. He didn't have his chin in the air as much as I've seen in the past. And some of those mistakes looked like he had shored him up with Derek James. So I was like, okay, all right, Ryan Garcia off a loss, new trainer, he's working on some stuff. Out of nowhere, winning the fight, I had him pitching a shutout. In fact, he started doing the shoulder roll. And if you want this is the great thing. I love my job. This is the great thing about my job is I did a Boxingego watch party, you know, the creator, the inventor of the watch party in the boxing world, right? And I was doing it so you got my live IRL in real life reaction in real time when he started doing this. And I started yelling at my screen as I'm watching this. And I remember specifically saying when Ryan started this shoulder roll nonsense, I said, why is he doing that? It just makes no sense. And I said this specifically, and if you don't believe me, go watch the watch party. And that was in real time. I hadn't seen the fight. I'm watching it live like everybody else. I said, I know Derek James did not tell him to do this. So that was pretty bizarre. Now we have proof from Ryan Garcia that Derek James didn't tell him to do that, and that was not part of Derek James's instruction. Here's what Ryan said. I want to thank everyone for their support tonight. This was a tough opponent who hit pretty hard, but we sniped the shot. My first fight under Derek James, and we are going to build off this. Bring that roly-poly girl, obviously referring to Rolly Romero, guy he called out. But pay attention here. Also, never trying the shoulder roll again, crying emoji. For the record, Derek James told me never to do that again. Ha 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 ha. So Derek James let Ryan Garcia know. He said, what are you doing with the shoulder roll? Like, that wasn't part of the plan. You're not Mayweather. Why are you doing that? And it was so bizarre that he started to do this. You know, DAZN commentators were speculating, oh, he's trying to protect his body. Very weird. Now, the criticism I have for Ryan Garcia trying something new is, as I said in real time in the watch party, this opponent, okay, first of all, you're coming off a loss. You need to get a W. What you were doing before that BS was working. So why on earth would you switch from a working game plan? This shows me that Floyd Mayweather, he gotta be the GOAT. Because one thing you have to admit with Floyd Mayweather, Floyd will never go AWOL and abandon a working game plan. And my dad always taught me, bring the right tool to the job. And sometimes you got to show in boxing you're a dog and have a gutsy fight and stand your ground. Sometimes you got to retreat. Sometimes you got to clinch. It just depends. Bring out the necessary tools. So I thought it was really bunk for Ryan Garcia to be winning the fight, really pitching a shutout, new trainer, new situation, new weight class, off of a loss, a knockout loss to Gervonta Davis on top of all things. And you're just exploring and randomly trying different things against somebody who, at the bare bones minimum, he's a limited knockout puncher with some pop. Ryan just told you, he says he hit pretty hard. So that's highly questionable when you start looking at the more dangerous fights for Ryan Garcia in this new weight class, 140, because you have lethal people like Subriel Matias. Ryan is saying he wants to be a champion. That's one of the existing champions. You have rugged guys like Gary Antoine Russell, very technical, experienced guys like Richardson Hitchens, and the list goes on and on and on. Teofimo Lopez, he's hit or miss with his performances, but his very last performance with Josh Taylor, he looked special. He looked very good in that fight, right? And it just was weird that Ryan Garcia would go AWOL and randomly start doing that phony Mayweather, makeshift Mayweather, that's what we're gonna call it, the makeshift Mayweather, randomly. And I thought that was a poor choice. I know it wasn't part of the tutorial or instructional or things that Derek James works on. So I'm just thinking in my head, what provoked, what urged him to do this? Where did he conjure up this game plan that, hey, I'm in there with the dangerous puncher? And see, this is the other thing. Again, you got to be concerned about it if you're a Ryan Garcia fan, because luckily for Ryan, he got the knockout. He was never like badly hurt or dropped or whatever, so it worked out. But Duarte is an inexperienced guy. Let's be real. The only real chance he had is what people were saying. He's a knockout puncher with nothing to lose. So the way I see it is, why would you even give him the only opportunity that he probably had to hurt you and land a home run on you? You're basically offering him that on a silver platter by fighting in a defensive strategy that is really foreign to you. You haven't perfected. If you listen to anybody that does the shoulder roll, James Toney and Floyd Mayweather, Floyd Sr., they'll tell you it's not for play. Or any boxer like Andre Ward, cerebral fighters, they'll tell you it's not for play and it's not for everybody. Not everyone can do it. It involves years of practice, drills, real-time experience, timing, reaction, reflexes, countering, good defense, head movement, like positioning, shifting. I mean, I can go on and on. To do that successfully, like I'm talking about at an elite level, like James Toney and Floyd Mayweather, arguably some of the best people who employed the shell or the shoulder roll technique, you know, it takes practice. So I thought it was a bizarre, very bizarre decision, you know, in the decision making of Ryan Garcia to do something that you and your coach didn't talk about and do it versus this specific opponent, because that just doesn't seem like good executive decision making skills to do that against a rugged guy whose only chance is to basically clip you. He wasn't going to outbox you. Like, nothing in his arsenal that he showed me that he was going to outbox the longer, faster, more explosive, taller fighter. So his real chance was to make it an inside fight. And while you were boxing tall earlier in the other rounds, you decided to do that, which also kind of negated your height a little bit. And if you look at it, this is another reason why it's highly concerning, is because when Ryan Garcia did that, at first it was kind of working, but then Oscar Duarte kind of got a feel for it, and then he started having his best rounds while he was doing that, and Ryan was kind of retreating and doing the Philly shell and not throwing the usual offense. So rounds 5 and 6 were probably some of Duarte's best rounds, to the point where you could have scored both of those rounds, or at least one of them, or came close to scoring the rounds for Duarte, or whatever you want to say, you know, because I know different people's scorecards are different. So I think that is what stood out more than anything, that you just went rogue and on this AWOL mission to do something that is really not your style. You're not perfected, and it's really not a good opponent. Like, I know a lot of boxers personally, and they learn stuff in the gym, and if you're uber talented, you can practice something you just picked up, a new technique in the gym. You could practice it in the gym for the 6 to 8 week training camp or whatever, and then start utilizing it in the ring. But the better idea for most is, unless you're like Roy Jones Jr., where you could just have learned something and maybe picked it up, and you're such a freakish, gifted athlete that you can just start implementing it in real time. The better idea would be you do it against a guy that you can get it, like you're fighting a journeyman or a cupcake, you know what I mean? And then you start practicing things, techniques you worked in the gym, or even do it in sparring. Like, if you learn something new, practice in sparring when you have headgear and there's not a bunch of cameras and stuff. So that was the biggest standout in terms of criticism for Ryan Garcia, this whole shoulder roll nonsense, because he wasn't good at it. And the decision to do that was just really weird and bizarre. Everybody, it seemed like Teofimo was making fun of it, Rolly was making fun of it, and nobody seemed to understand it, including his own trainer, Derek James. So what possessed him to do that? That's the biggest question here. And against, you're talking down to Shakur Stevenson, you know, whether you think Shakur can beat him or has the power or whatever, at the very least, we do know he's a southpaw with ring IQ. So against anybody with better ring IQ and better intangibles and maybe similar or comparable speed, you're not going to want to be sampling and trying different things out in real time. And to me, I've said this before about Ryan Garcia, that shows me that Ryan Garcia lacks his identity. And I said this many fights ago and people didn't understand. Different fighters, it's hard to explain, but some fighters, they just know who they are. Like, I watched clips of Prince Nassim Hamed, and he had to be like 7-10 years old or something. Very young, he was a kid. He was doing the same things that you would later see him do in his 20s on HBO, and he was doing it at the young age. So to me, that signifies and shows me this is a fighter that this is just his natural, innate style. This is just who he is. Ryan and others, I've seen other fighters who've done this, they don't really have a DNA. Like, does Ryan want to? Anthony Joshua is another fighter that comes to mind, where Joshua, his first 16, 17 fights, he's billed as a knockout puncher. Now, after he loses to Ruiz and had a tough fight with Klitschko, got dropped, got embarrassed, lost to Usyk, now he doesn't really know who he is as a fighter. He's no longer the knockout brute guy with this explosive power. Now Joshua is trying to be methodical, pick his shots, take his time, and it's just like he's in no man's land with this style. Luckily for Ryan, he's still young, so he still has time to kind of figure it out. And obviously my assessment was pretty accurate, because Ryan Garcia himself said post-fight he's still trying to figure out his style. So new trainer, trying to figure out his style, he got to get that, especially if he wants to be a champion. So that's my breakdown. We unpack. Subscribe to my channel. I had to make the video. A lot of people wanted me to make this follow-up video about Ryan and the shoulder roll. Very bizarre stuff, peculiar move to randomly do it versus a knockout puncher. Like, why would you practice something against somebody who, again, that's his best chance to win, and that's what everyone was saying, is for him to knock you out, and you're giving him his best opportunity. Kind of foolish. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. I'm out.
Introducing Super Thanks. Right here on the official Boxingego YouTube. Super Thanks allows you, the viewers, to show a little bit of extra gratitude, which enables me as a full-time content creator to push out the content you need in the world of boxing. Underneath all the videos, you will see a heart with the $sign in it. You can enter any amount that you find suitable as a super thanks. A brand new, interactive, and colorful way to get your comments highlighted and noticed by not only myself, but other people on the YouTube platform. Super thanks, a unique and cool way to show and applaud us full-time content creators. Hopefully you guys enjoy the content. Super thanks.
The future is now. The Hibernation 5s by Kenichi Bear. Hybrid gaming and lifestyle headphones. Out of the box, you can connect to any console or PC. Bluetooth ready with a low latency USB adapter, color RGB, and extreme bass mode. The Hibernation 5s adjust to you. Whether you need a gaming, travel, gym, or lifestyle headphones, the Hibernations got you covered. The new Hibernation 5s, link in the description. Customize the way you hear the world. Welcome to the nation.
Are you tired of your YouTube videos not getting any views? Well, consider TubeBuddy. I've used TubeBuddy for years to scale up my YouTube channel. Now we're sitting over 200,000 subscribers. TubeBuddy is a browser extension that offers a ton of built-in productivity and time-saving services to take your channel to the next level. Use my link in the description to get started with TubeBuddy and level up your channel faster. We working.